Monday, May 6th, has issued a high risk of severe weather, and it is confirmed that it is causing damage. Again, it's this little area right here. If you are in this area north of Parkin, Now, hello everybody, my name is Krishna and welcome back to Skycast, and today we do have a few things to talk about, including 2 new areas of severe weather across the Gulf states. On top of that, a few different winter storms expected as well as we go through the month of February. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Now, I do want to dive in and start with the areas of winter weather first, where we are highlighting an area across portions of actually most of the Ohio Valley areas over the next few days, but this one in particular will start tomorrow morning on Tuesday morning and will impact portions anywhere from Missouri all the way over into portions of Delaware, including the DC metro area. Within the circled region, not really Tennessee, but anywhere you see the alerts at winter storm warnings, winter storm watches, these advisories out. Anywhere between that, you could see anywhere between a widespread 1 to 5 inches with locally higher amounts. Those winter storm warnings have been issued. You can see National Weather Services are actually continuing to issue these, continuing to upgrade them. National Weather Service Jackson and National Weather Service Wilmington just updated theirs not too long ago, and then National Weather Service Louisville just issued this right before recording, which is the reason why I started recording. As for that as well, the special weather statement extends all the way into portions of Missouri where lower amounts of snowfall is expected, and then little baby winter weather advisory over here towards northern Arkansas. But once again, definitely could be definitely could be hazardous for travel on top of the snowfall that we are expected. Once again, 3 to 5 inches, locally higher totals in areas across Kentucky and Virginia. A glazing of ice is expected too, and if you remember what happened last time, we had about 0.75 inches of ice, which made travel completely catastrophic. Should not be to that extent, but definitely will make travel hazardous on top of all that wet snow. These will be big flakes that will fall, should stick to the ground. So we will definitely see how this turns out. Temperatures in the morning will be cold, but it's a matter of if it stays freezing throughout the day when this snow does hit. Right now you can see we have areas of 30s just right below freezing in a lot of these areas of I think Frankfort, Lexington are in 33 degrees right now in this model run, but we need to be below freezing for that to stick to the ground, so it's going to be kind of a hit or a miss type deal, something that we haven't really seen just yet this year. Either this is going to happen, we're going to get that expected snowfall, or it's going to end up being too warm and we don't get enough of that snowfall. And the model does predict us to stay relatively cool across the day, once again within the 30s range. But like I said, this model right here predicts 34 degrees, which once again might be too warm for it to stick to the ground. It's definitely something just to continue to pay attention to. If we switch that back over to the precipitation type, you can see that snowfall continuing across and throughout the day. This is 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So this is going to be kind of an all-day travel thing on top of the ice and all of that stuff. So definitely a day that you need to have your plan ready. Now, if we are looking at the GFS, forgot to full screen there for a minute, but you can see that winter storm moving across Kentucky as we get into tomorrow, and then immediately back behind that, we have this area right here, and that is going to be a second winter storm. Once again, back-to-back winter storms for a minute. This will affect Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, and then we'll continue to move off to the north and northeast. So if you are being missed up here in Indiana, Chicago, Illinois, anywhere like that, if you are being missed by this winter storm that is currently affected, you don't have to wait too long until that area also gets hit with a winter storm. So definitely an interesting thing to see that just back to back across the East Coast. A lot of the areas out through here are going to be snowy and things of that nature. GFS is also predicting another sort of winter storm across the north. With that, we have an isolated severe risk down here towards the Gulf Coast, which we are going to talk about here in a minute. And then eventually that just moves out. And then we start getting into the fantasy land runs where things aren't really as important. So definitely going to need a plan. Definitely going to need to continue to once again to watch these storms. Um, Stay weather aware and stay weather savvy. Do want to go ahead and swap over to severe weather risks where we are highlighting a day 6 15% risk. Now, right before we do get into that day 6 risk, National Weather Service has highlighted a day 3 on Wednesday slight risk, level 2 out of 5, across portions of Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. That marginal risk extends through portions of East Texas and into portions of Florida and Georgia. This risk is going to be uh, for that a QLCS system, kind of a linear system with maybe a few prefrontal supercells on that. This is going to be when the National Chaser Summit is going on, so don't know how many chasers or storm chasers we're going to get out in that area, but this is definitely a unique risk, especially across areas that have been impacted hard. Isolated tornadoes, damaging winds, maybe some small hail will be possible with this threat, so go ahead and start planning that severe weather plan for this day. But as we start getting into portions of Sunday, now it doesn't really show much up here, day 4, day 5, but then we start getting into day 6, where we do have this 15% risk of severe weather extended through portions of Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, portions of Texas. That risk is going to be, once again, another more QLCS system from what models are predicting. Once again, prefrontal supercells may be a threat, but it's really too far out to kind of line that down to what threat we're actually going to get. This isn't anything to be scared about, just something that you need to have that plan ready just in case, and something that we need to continue to watch. This has the potential to be significant. Now, if we are looking at the upper air atmosphere wind, the 500 millibar wind, you can see it's going to be this little area right here that we are going to be watching. This negatively tilted trough is expected to set up across portions of New Mexico, Arizona, California, Texas, areas of the Southwest. That will eventually continue to strengthen as it moves over Texas and Arkansas, and that is what's going to be to spark the severe weather event. When you have those winds and you combine it with ample moisture that funnels out of the Gulf of Mexico, you see those blues, those almost into the blacks, where you have dew points sitting in the 60s, almost the 70s. That is a perfect recipe for severe weather. And when you look at the temperatures on top of those dew points, and trying to let it load, and you see temperatures in the 70s, even some areas of the mid 70s, you have those warm temperatures, you have ample moisture, you have instability, and then you have that trough moving through. Literally a severe weather setup that is very common. With this threat, once again, it would be an all hazards threat, but more going to be a QSCS threat as we are seeing right now. The GFS, once again, what I was talking about, the GFS is predicting this to end up being a line of storms. That is a horrible straight line that will eventually continue to move off towards the Gulf Coast as it weakens. But this is definitely just something really that we need to keep an eye on. Once again, if the trends do continue like they are going, this does have the potential to be somewhat of a significant severe weather event. Now, the last thing I do want to show before we do end this video is the CSU model. Once again, this is for Sunday, and the CSU model has already pulled out the moderate significant for portions of day 6. So the CSU, this model is usually pretty lower end when it comes to severe weather events. It's usually pretty accurate too. This is still pretty far out, so once again, just really something that we do have to pay attention to. But this is definitely not one of those things that I expected to wake up to. So continue to pay attention to it, continue to monitor, be weather savvy, keep your eyes on this day. So besides that, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you for choosing Skycast as your go-to weather. You can follow me on X, links in the description. Have a great day, stay safe, and I will see you guys in the next one.